What's good with it? Welcome to It's a Vibe, man. I am Troy Evans, and I am here to just, help you to think differently outside the box about some things. Man, at the end of the day, I'm the pastor that turned vibe coder, and I have so much to talk about as it relates to vibe coding. And so what I want to do is I want to leave you with this principle, this concept, this nugget of how we operate, and I believe every tech should operate in this way. So this is our process. We identify a problem, we seek the current solution, we figure out what the gap is there, and we ask this question: how can AI help? If you like to just sell things every once in a while, or you sell things a lot, you're typically going online and you're trying to find what to sell them for. Well, we developed an app for that. A very simple, 2 buttons, 2-click app called Price View. You go inside of here, you take a picture of any item, and it goes out and it finds a suggested resale price for it. Man, it saves so much time because we tune this thing so it gives it back to you within 15 seconds. That's right, you heard me. Find an item, take a picture of it, gives you a price, post it. Sign up for Price View today. Let's go. And internally, we call AI Vibranium. You know what I'm saying? So we say like, so how can Vibranium help? You're asking the question when it comes to an app, or you're asking the question when it comes to software, you're talking to a client, or you may be like me when I'm talking to myself, you know what I'm saying, about a particular problem. You ask these type of questions. What frustrates you at school, at work, or in the community? If you challenge and you sit in front of Replit, or you sit in front of, those of you that code, you're sitting like, I'm stuck. If you're challenged, ask that question. It's like, so what's frustrating me right now in terms of my work that I do? In terms of the school work that I do, different things that I'm doing, what's frustrating, even something you've seen in the community. Then you ask, so what's broken? Like, what's broken in this thing? Like, it's just really nailing it down. Like, okay, it's frustrating me, but why is it frustrating me? What's really broken in this thing that somebody needs to fix? And sometimes you get like this, like somebody needs to fix this, and before you know, it's like somebody needs to fix this, and it's you, right? It's you. And then what tools are there that's broken? And then we move to this thing. Myron Golden always talks about pain points. Getting down to like, man, what's really that thing? Like, man, that sucks when I got to do that. Or that hurts when I see that. What is that? Because that moves you to a place to identifying a problem, and then make a very clear sentence. One sentence. This is the problem that I've identified. Because this is the start. This is the foundation that every person is going to develop a platform, a software, or even build any type of business. If you can start there with the problem, you'll go so far. If you're starting with money, you're starting with the wrong thing. Always start with the problem. Always start with the problem. You're starting a business, you're starting building a software package, always start with the problem. So what problem am I solving, right? And then you work endless time. You know what I'm saying? You keep working until you resolve that problem. And that's where we start. So what is the problem? All right, let's move on to the current solution. So anytime someone comes with a problem, even myself, and I have problems, and I'll give one example later, but if I have a problem, if it's a problem with software, or if there's a problem in the society, there's a temporary solution. So we need to start asking the question, what are people currently doing to resolve that problem? Back in the day, it's like, well, man, we need transportation. They go faster. Well, what are they currently doing? They're riding on horses, right? That's like simple. Like, man, we need to make sure we have light all the time, to illuminate things. What are they currently doing? They're using candles. So it's like, how do we think about the problem and then saying, what is the current solution? Then we move into, all right, so that is the problem. Here's the current solution. Then now we move into doing a bit of a gap analysis. We're saying like, so where's the gap? That's the problem. Where's the gap here? Where is the opportunity? It's because the opportunities, that's where you can thrive. That's where things can happen. Because you start looking at like, man, okay, now I'm not just looking at the weaknesses or the strengths. I'm moving into opportunities, right? So what is the opportunity? So what's missing? What am I missing here? And this is where the power comes in of using tools like ChatGPT. Because once you have that information, you can take what is the problem, what's the current solution, then identifying like who the person is and maybe what the subject matter is. And you take that and you go into ChatGPT and do what I tell every person that's going to use any type of these LLMs. I'm going to tell you to ask more questions than you're making commands. If you're tech, that's hard. What we do is we make commands, right? We make commands and then they better obey, kind of deal. Like I'm saying, no, ask more questions to start getting a dialogue around, man, here's some problems, here's solutions. What can we do about it? And get 4 or 5 ideas and push it until you find something that's great. So this is where we move into this term that we use is called MVP, right? So what is an MVP? That is your minimal viable product. And the best way to get here is using these 3 different steps, because it'll push you into having this minimal viable product, which is our last, the 4th step is that now we're asking, well, how can Vibranium help? Thank y'all for joining us. It's a vibe. It's been a vibe. Let's get it. Subscribe, like, comment. Let's go.